What's up, y'all? You're now listening to the What Now podcast. I'm Dr. Spencer Dupre, owner of Empower Chiropractic.
And I am Dr. Zach Thompson, owner of Within Chiropractic. The purpose of this podcast is to document and share the experiences of two young business owners as we open our own brick and mortar chiropractic practices. Join along as we discuss all of our wins, our losses, insights, and the many, many lessons we learned.
As a disclaimer, none of this is ever intended to be medical, legal, or financial advice. Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What Now podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Spencer Dupre with Empower Chiropractic in Argyle, joined by my buddy,
Dr. Zach Thompson. Sorry, I thought he was going to introduce me. That's on learning rapport with one another as podcast hosts. But yes, I'm the other co-host, right. Dr. Zach Thompson, out of Within Chiropractic here in Colleyville, Texas. And this is a podcast made to discuss what is going on in our current brick and mortar chiropractic offices and things of that nature. So we're going to talk about what's good, what's getting better, and how we can be improving this week. So Spencer, why don't you let us know what's good, what's getting better, and how can you start to improve your practice? Let's start with question number one.
Sure, dude. I actually wasn't going to introduce you. I was just going to leave it anonymous to the crowd and just let them figure it out. But yes, everyone.
I don't think I have that kind of clout. I don't think my voice can do that. Not yet.
He's him. But anyway, yeah, man. Empower Chiropractic, it's good and it's getting better. It's getting a lot better, a lot faster than I anticipated. But yeah, we're in month 3. I think we just finished month 3, so November, December. Because we were open like 4 days in October, so it's not really a whole month. But yep, November, December, and then January, and now so I guess we're up in month 4. And month 4, we've doubled our practice since December. Well, we doubled in January. Man, it's been good. It's been really good. It's been consistent. Growth has been consistent. And we're seeing awesome results in people. That's, I guess, what's really good. It's been very consistent, not too many. I'm sure they'll come, but not a lot of cases where people are not seeing benefits right away. Mm-hmm. And that's been great. What's getting better? We are looking to onboard our first office assistant.
Woo, that's big.
Yeah, it's really big. It's going to help help me get out of my own way, and also just kind of expand our community. So whenever people come in, they can. It's not just me hanging out, and yeah,
definitely. As now having Joshua for 2 months, December, January, I guess he's on month 3. That definitely helps patient interaction and create more of that community feeling when it's not just you. Not that can't be done, but it's nice to have that in there for the patients more so than for the doctor.
Yeah, and to back up onto our topic of networking, I've just been consistently networking in these groups that I've been in, and a ton of people are starting to send more referrals in my way, and not only that, but just also I feel like there's more of a curiosity as into what I do instead of being like, oh, who's the new guy, But people are actually like interested in what I have to say, and they come up to me after the meetings and ask questions like, hey, I have this, and and they're like, you're my guy, right? I'm like, yeah, of course. And so that's been really awesome to see that, and it's been really just good to get involved in the community. Argyle and the surrounding neighborhoods are like pretty small and interconnected, and so I really like that. Just being able to get to know people and get immersed in the community. So, yeah, man, we're good and getting better. I'm sure I can. Where are we getting better at? Where do we want to get better? Trying to get better at the scheduling and the consistency part of the practice. So, like, just a lot of back office stuff, like post appointment things.
It's a tough one right there.
Yeah, Post Malone. But post-appointment things like, like tracking billing and tracking appointments and note charting and those kind of things. And you get kind of swamped, whenever you have people coming back to back, you don't really have time to do a lot of those other things. So just implementing the systems, developing, that's where we're getting better at. Financially, we're getting a lot better as well in our management and our growth. So that's great. What about you?
Nice, man. Those are all big things.
Thanks.
Yeah. So what was the question that I asked? It was what's good, what's getting better, and
what's good and what's getting better. We're taking that from our boy Justin at the Improver Group.
Yep. Big Mardi Gras luncheon.
Both of us, we claim the Improver Group. We stand for the improvers.
Yeah, I will say I was first. Spencer was second there, but that's true. Okay. It's not a
thank you.
We're both improving.
That's right.
But yeah, so it's a big part of Justin's coaching is, on our coaching calls, going around what's good, what's getting better. And so for me, what's good? I mean, I honestly would say this is good. So it might sound crazy, but this is just my mindset. We had been seeing pretty exponential growth quite rapidly, which is expected, I think, for a new business. If you've been listening for a while, you probably have caught on that I compare almost everything to the gym. I think the gym has plenty of lessons. But as a new business, same way as if you're new in the gym, when you first start working out and start implementing, any sort of program, you start to see growth. You start to see new biceps or new quads, or you're like, oh, my calves are finally getting bigger. And if your calves are still small, it's okay. It's okay to have small calves. But same thing happened. I mean, I just don't want someone to be discouraged if you have small calves.
Zach and I both have huge calves.
Yeah, we're calf monsters. Not really. My calves are pretty small, so comparative to my quads. But got fake legs. Anyways, this is not about our legs. So we saw pretty rapid growth in our business, and it was awesome. And I didn't want to be in this mindset that, for the last 12 weeks, we had seen more people than the week before. And I was starting to get nervous because I was like, at some point, we're going to see less people than we did the week before. And it happened. It finally happened. And it felt good. Like, that actually felt like it was a good thing, because it was this sense of almost like it was bound to happen. So it's okay for it to happen. I would, just as we talk about the healing process with our patients, like, there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be, you're not just going to get better the entire time throughout a care plan. That's just not how it happens. And so it was good for me, I think, mindset wise, initially. And now it's kind of like, oh man, like, I wish we were, I think we dropped off by like 4 or 5 patient visits a week. And so now I'm like, man, like, I'd like to be back in that 80 patient visit a week average that we were seeing towards the end of January. And so it's regaining momentum. Not necessarily like going back to the drawing board, but okay, where can we start to improve? What can we, with this now downtime that we didn't have for a little bit, what can we start to implement? What do we need to refine? And so I think it was a much needed thing to happen.
Like a deload week in the gym.
Yeah, exactly. Get more focused on other things and get more dialed in. So it was that is something that was good. But really the goodest or the great thing that happened over the last 2 weeks was Within Chiropractic was nominated for Best New Member or Best New Business in the city of Colleyville. So that was really awesome to have been nominated. We'll have the awards banquet tomorrow night. So we're recording this on a Wednesday. Awards banquet will be on Thursday night. And I hope next time that we record this podcast, I'll get to share that we won. But even if we didn't, still a huge nomination, just as like a small 2-person office, that just feels really awesome to get that recognition. So yeah, that's what's good and that's what's great. What's getting better? I think the relationship and how Joshua is my CA, my office manager, how we're starting to play and feed off of one another when it comes to ideas or really anything in the office. I don't necessarily like come to him with like, hey, we're going to do this. It's more collaborative. That's always been my, I think, style of leadership. And we're in this together. So figuring out ways to generate more referrals or what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, I'm losing the word.
I was there last week.
How to streamline the process. Optimize how to optimize the patient experience and low voice crack, and really how puberty at 26 is tough. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, how to optimize the patient experience so that really we're not wasting people's time, but we're also not having people come in and, kicking them right out the door in a minute. So really trying to fine tune that and create a greater sense of community of our patients and our practice members, so that now, it's kind of funny because people start to come in when they're coming in 2-3 times a week. They're typically coming in at the same time, which means the other people that come in around that same time are coming in at the same time as them. So they're starting to talk with one another while they're waiting for an adjustment, or even after they've checked out and they've scheduled for the next week, they'll hang out and chat with each other for a little bit. And so it's really cool to start seeing that that blend start to take place within our practice members. And so I would say that's where we're getting better. So that's been really awesome. And then something we can improve on, we were crunching away at this morning, was we had a amazing person volunteer to build our website for us, and he did all the back end meta tags and everything like that for free. And then we waited 3 months, wanted to see what traction we were getting, and we weren't getting any traction. So at first I was like, what'd this guy do? So I called him up, and he was like, hey man, I actually called you on Friday. Looked through my phone. I missed the call. That was my bad. And he wanted to let me know that he hadn't mentioned that I needed to optimize my Google business profile to match the meta tags. And so we started going over all that this morning, which was awesome because I got to give Joshua more responsibility on that Google business page, since he is more of the office manager than he is a CA. And so that was really cool. So we're improving that and looking to see some more organic reach through Google start to occur over these next 3 months. So that is really the gist of those 3 questions. But if you want to dive into any of those 3 or dive into yours, we can do that as well.
Dude, yeah. I think that's actually one thing that I've really been looking into. I do where, I don't know, when I do these deep dives on the internet and trying to research stuff, it's what I've really been looking at is the optimization of the Google My Business page. And so because it's one of the easiest ways to get organic reach without doing paid advertisement. If you guys don't know Google My Business, I was just talking to Colton yesterday and helping him set up his Google page. All you do to be a registered business on Google is you go to Google My Business, make an account, and that's it. And you can register your business on Google as a business, as long as you have whatever numbers and stuff you need. Same thing with Apple Maps. And so we were just talking about it, and I mean, I get a lot of people because I did a lot of baseline stuff when I was in the opening process. I get a lot of people who are like, yeah, dude, I just found you on Google. Mm-hmm. And so what is that looking like for you guys? And I mean, you guys are just doing it today, so I'll be interested to see kind of how it changes over the next week and then month and et cetera.
Yeah, it's definitely something.
But talk a little bit about the process.
Yeah. So I got really frustrated with Google when I first set up our business page. They took forever to send I guess when you're a brick and mortar, they have to send you a verification card, and the post office got it, and then they didn't, I didn't have my mailbox set up, it was just a whole lot of took me basically a month to get my Google verification code. So I was open, basically it was right before, or no. So I opened October 10th, and then I didn't have my verification card from Google until the Monday of Thanksgiving. So almost a month and a half, we weren't verified on Google. And so thankfully after that, I was just a little tapped out. Just was I don't want to deal with Google. So none of our new patients have come from Google, which is pretty crazy when I sit back and think about it. Just some of the weeks where we've had 8, 9, 10 new patients, and not one comes from Google, which is the most utilized way for most offices to get new patients. But up until literally today, there was a Facebook ad that I clicked on to kind of work you through your search engine optimization through your Google business page. My girlfriend, Morgan Hemengo over at Alpha and Omega, she used it. She highly recommended it. And it's pretty routine. I mean, Joshua's been doing basically all of it, so I actually don't know much of what's going on. But I asked him earlier today, and I was like, "How is this going?" And he said it's been going fairly well. Like it's nothing complicated. It's just it takes a little bit of time. So excited to get that connected now to the website, because in Colleyville there's like 12 chiropractors, and so when you search Colleyville chiropractor, Within Chiropractic didn't show up. So we're looking to, now that we have over 15 Google reviews and stuff like that, really start to, optimistically see some return on that effort. So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like one of the only chiropractors in Argyle, so you just look at Argyle chiropractor and it's like, this is just me. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You have to send me that information so I can work on that. I like to kind of play with things myself, but as we are onboarding this new office manager, we'll see how that works as well.
Right.
Cool.
Do you want to dive into kind of how you built your website and optimized organically to pop up on Google, or do you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I just built my website. I built my website on Squarespace. I used pictures that I had. And that's really it. It was really simple to do it through Squarespace. And then in terms of quote, like optimizing, I just looked up like must do things for a new Google business page. And it's like, put a couple pictures on there, and then you just add a tag on it, like just saying like, what is it doing? So it's like when people look up chiropractor, they don't just see things that say chiropractor, they see these pictures. Like, if you look up like football or whatever on Google, like a bunch of images are going to come up, not just like the same one. And like it was whatever. So that's just kind of it. I don't really feel like I quote optimize my deal. The only thing that I did differently is that on my webpage, like the title of it just says Empower Chiropractic and has a little like slash, and it just says Argyle Pediatric Chiropractor, to where like that's the name of my website. It's not like my domain. My domain is empowerchirotx.com, but just the header of my website just says all of those things, to where like anytime anybody looks that up, then all of those words come up together in a bunch, right? So like Empower Chiropractic. I mean, there's one in Nashville that has like 100 something reviews, and so like that's the one that a lot of times comes up if you're not like doing the like use my location deal. But if you look up Argyle Chiropractor, then I come up. Or if you look up pediatric chiropractor, then you come up. And like that's really what I'm trying to get to, right? Like I want people literally call me and they say, like, hey, I found you on Google. And I was like, oh, how did you like? I was like, glad to know that our new website works. And they're like, yeah, I just Googled pediatric chiropractor near me and you're the first result. And I was like, and then I read I read your reviews. And so I figured that must be good stuff. I was like, yep, let's get you on the books. And then they get on the books.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating if you let it be frustrating, like I did. But looking back on it, I wish I bounced back sooner, because I didn't realize the potential I was missing out on not utilizing Google. But like Spencer said, up until this generous man decided to build my website, I had built my website and I thought it looked pretty good. He made it look 10 times better, but it's not an overly complex. I mean, it takes like a good week, 2 weeks if you want to do it the right way. But if you're 3 months out from opening, I strongly suggest camping for a week in a coffee shop and just grinding away on your website.
Yep.
Because it'll pay off big time.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about last week with the branding stuff. Like, dude, you can pay people, like you can do it yourself, and then you'll always realize that like whoever does it for a living is going to be way better than you. Yeah. And so, like, what I like to do is kind of like, I'm going to learn how to do it myself, just to where I have the experience, to where one, like, if I meet someone that does do that, then I can connect with them and be like, oh yeah, I kind of dabbled in that a little bit, and then. Two, I just get a good feel to where then you don't get taken advantage of, like when you go to sales pitches or you ask for things, because like if you know nothing and somebody's like, yeah, that just is what it is, then like you can really get kind of screwed over, especially as a new business owner with all these different options to have. You can be like, somebody can be like, oh, I'll make you a web page, and it's just one page and it's like, $2,000 or whatever. Yeah. And like, so,
that's rampant all over the place. It's not just with like your website. It's Facebook marketing. It's everything. And so it's I think one of the best things I heard. I think I actually talked about it at some point. I don't know if it was last week. But again, big Dan Kennedy fan, godfather of direct sales marketing. But he talks about in his book Magnetic Marketing, when a business owner doesn't ingrain themselves or really get to know anything on marketing, you just set yourself up as a really easy victim or easy prey for a marketing company, website company, whatever company to come in and be, they'll just say like 2 or 3 key terms, which if you dabble in it even slightly, you'll recognize them, but they'll basically scare you into why you need to use them, and then they'll charge you this giant check, and you're like, crap, I just got worked over. And so that's a big reason I also mentioned last week, but really look up to Travis Stewart and what he's doing with Making Moves, because he's all about empowering the chiropractic business owner to understand all these different things. So I think it's huge too, right? And it's something I at least work on with my patients is I don't just adjust them. I'm going to show them certain exercises or stretches, or, hey, I'm going to mention this supplement, or even something as simple as like, I think you should drink water, right? Because I don't want them to just come in, get the adjustment and leave. The adjustment's super powerful, but I also want them to be much healthier individuals in general. And I know that movement, what you eat, what you drink, all of that play a huge role. So I don't want to just take someone in, give them the basic routine, and then send them out the door.
Yeah, I think that like things to keep in mind as the new practice owner would be to people are going to hit you up all the time for all kind of things. I think I have I think I have someone with a magazine come to my office every single day and ask me to advertise in their magazine. And, if you feel like it's advantageous for you to do that, then do that. Like, I actually did choose a magazine to advertise with because it was they didn't ask me about advertising. They literally just came in curious about the practice. And when I told them my story, they're like, this would be a great fit for this. And now if they plan that, who knows? But at the same time, when you ask their values, it was a very like faith-driven magazine that's looked to highlight, Christian business owners, which is, something that I value. And they had they had really fair terms. And so I agreed to doing that, where a lot of people just come in and they're like, hey, let me blah, 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 this, right? Like, if you guys are going to open up your own practice, you're going to get bombarded with all these guys. They're like, hey, doc, I love how I had an Instagram page and I didn't have anything on it, not even a bio, no profile picture, and it just said like Empower Chiropractor. People message me, hey, doc, love the way your page is looking right now. How would you feel how would 15 guaranteed new patients on the schedule sound to you? And I'm like, that's a no. Like, what do you mean my page is looking good?
Diligence.
I got nothing on here. And so it's like, but one of the guys like that did hit me up about that is Stratton Paulson's guy, Shaq, who like kind of taught him his stuff with like organic Instagram acquisition. And I've had a couple Instagram calls with him, and he's a good dude, man. And he really wants people to go forward and do their best. And he really wants to see you succeed as the doctor. And that's great. So don't cut those opportunities short as just like quote spam, filter them and kind of know what you're looking for. And then to kind of tie it back into how we were talking with the website is just dabble a little bit, do some research, kind of get general understanding of the things that you have to do, to where when you do hire someone to do it, or you hire someone to represent you in that way, then you understand like what they're actually doing, to where if you need to redirect course, you can. Right. So like as the solopreneur, it's awesome if you can hire a CA right out of the gate. But if you can also work your front desk operations for a little bit and get a good grasp on it, then you're going to be able to give more guidance. Right. Because you're not only the chiropractor doing the technical work, but you're also like the captain of the ship, and you're doing the entrepreneurial directional work. And so I think that is good to do.
Conditioning coach. And I was doing an internship at my undergrad with Coach Matthew Nine, who he's the head strength coach for Salisbury's lacrosse team, and they have never not had a graduating class win a national championship since he took over as the strength and conditioning coach. And that was like 25 years ago. So this dude, has a record of success, but he told me he's just big on teaching his interns that you can never ask an athlete to do something unless you've done it. So if you're going to write a program or you're going to, hey, we're going to do 50-yard prowler pushes for 10 sets. He's like, you have better done that at least one time in your life and know how much it's going to suck before asking someone to do it. And to Spencer's point, kind of getting a good idea of what your front desk is like and what it's like to answer the phones and things of that nature, I think go a long way so that when you do bring someone in, you've already done it. And so you feel more confident in teaching them how to go about that.
Yep. I was just talking to somebody about that too, and about care planning, right? And so many times chiropractors, you come into chiropractic school, because you went to a chiropractor a couple times or like you just fell into it somehow anyway. But then you're like, you get adjusted by your friends at school, and then, you're adjusted like once or twice or a week or so. And then like when you do patient management in school, you're like, you don't really know what it's like to care plan. So you say like, well, I don't want them to pay too much. So come in twice a week and then maybe once a week. And then we'll see how you're feeling in between those visits and stuff. And it's like, dude, if you have not, one, paid for your own chiropractic care, and two, been on a consistent plan of some sort, whether like you had a restorative care plan or like a wellness care plan, if you are not consistently under chiropractic care, how are you going to slide financials across the table from someone? And then like when you say like it's going to be this much and they're like, really? And then not blink and you say yes, like how are you going to do that, right, if you haven't done it yourself? Like, I mean, for me, when I first got into chiropractic when I was 15, I was on a 6-month care plan. I went 3 times a week for 3 months. Yeah. And so like whenever I looked that mom across the face in the face and say like, hey, look, like I know it's going to be a long time, but it's going to be 3 times a week for the next 3 months, then like that's what it's going to take.
I had a similar experience. I went the insurance route. So I was told by my chiropractor that I needed 9 visits. And then, you get into chiropractic and you realize insurance told him that I could use 9 visits of my insurance.
Right.
Still had amazing results. That's why I'm in chiropractic now. But when I did my internship, again, in undergrad, with a chiropractor, Dr. Tim Morrison, who is a Palmer grad, 1980, super principal dude. Funny story, I'll go back to it. But he took my x-rays, did his new patient exam on me. He wanted me to see the experience, and then as a former football player and powerlifter, he looked at me and he's like, dude, like I thought I was going to be adjusting you like every other week, but I need to see you for the next 3-4 months, like 2 to 3 times a week. And I was like, cool. So we went through with that, but it's good to know now. And I even, you don't even have to pay for it. Like, I think one of the biggest things that, at least at Parker, students miss out on is taking for granted the fact that you are an assigned intern that is right across the street at the student clinic. And if you want to have a good student clinic experience, then actually go to the clinic. Don't just expect that when you show up in try 8, after you haven't been to the clinic at all, that you're supposed to be rewarded this good clinic experience, right?
Yep.
You can go as a student. It costs nothing to you. Maybe your intern isn't great. Maybe your intern does things differently. It's okay. Go like give back and start to learn. Start to pick up on things. I remember when I was a try 1, I didn't pick up on a freaking thing. But then you get closer. Try 5, try 6. You start to notice little nuances. So highly suggest just going to as a student to the student clinic and seeing your intern. So shout out to the interns out there. But
shout out to the interns out there. I in try 3, try 3 was probably the best that I was ever cared for ever. Like that was probably like when I was at the healthiest, like lowest body fat percentage, best performance in the gym, best like a cognitive capacity, all that stuff. And I was under care by my intern, Nolan Etheridge. And it was literally he taught me a bunch of stuff, opened my eyes to like what like nervous system vitalistic chiropractic care was. We became great friends. We got to really know each other. And then he like really got me ingrained into like the vitalistic scene. And then, he became he was one of our mentors like throughout school, like guys that like we looked up to that was ahead of us, And then, and then I was under care with, I was in Tri3, and then I was under care the whole time through school. And then, just recently I've been under care at House of Chiropractic with Chris Reed, and dude, I've learned so much about adjusting. Like I'll get adjusted by Chris and be like, man, and then that'll come up on the table with somebody there, dude. And then it makes me a better adjuster because I'm just paying attention. I'm just locked in.
Yeah. So, I think it's huge to, going back to what we were talking about, I think it's one of the best life principles I've honestly ever learned is don't ask someone to do something that you haven't done yourself. And, even having Joshua go to the Google My Business page, like I was like, I haven't done this. I haven't done this yet. Like I don't know what to expect. And so there was some almost like guilt in that by asking him to do something I haven't done. But I also like have worked with the Google My Business and the website and everything, so I didn't feel too guilty. But definitely take the time to learn or just ingrain yourself in a lot of the things. Yes, you can pay someone else to do it, but I think, as I don't want to use Spencer's practice name, but it's just going to come up.
It's so good.
As chiropractors, we look to empower our patients and our practice members, and so look to empower yourself and learn just a little bit, so that when someone does come knocking on your door, you can be like, oh, I've dabbled in this. Maybe they can help me, or you're just better off to say no because you're like, this dude's just selling me a crock of crap, for lack of better words.
Yep, I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. This is good stuff. Good stuff.
Sounds good.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to the What Now podcast. Zach and I are both super grateful for you guys listening. Just thank you so much. And if you get anything from today's episode, just know that if you're looking for answers, look within. And anyway, that was really good. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Peace.